So let's take a look at make versus new. I really kind of like this because it's something I need to cement in my own head. But we saw how we could make a map, and here we're using make map string string, right? Making a map right there with make. And then there's another keyword that you see sometimes, new. So what's the difference between make versus new? And so make is for slices, maps, and channels. And it allocates memory. It initializes. So it puts a 0 or empty string into values. Okay? So new returns a pointer. It's newly allocated and is 0 valued, right? So the way you'd say that is it returns a pointer to the newly allocated zeroed value of type t. And that's straight out of the documentation. All right, so that's a little bit like, okay, that sounds like two things saying kind of the same thing. So what's the difference? So here we have a little program, func main, and we have a variable age, which is a pointer to a slice of ints, and that's the type. And we're doing a new slice of ints, right? So that returns a pointer. Did we talk about pointers and addresses, right? Yeah, we did already. So that returns a pointer. New slice of ints. I'm sorry, I'm like Space Cadet, but I think that's what happens with 3.5 hours of sleep, right? It's like, who am I? Where am I? Who are you? What have we talked about? Short-term memory kind of just gets jettisoned. Yeah. So we could print line age. And when we print line age, we see that, hey, here's the address for this slice, right? It's an address with a slice. If we print line, if we dereference age, we get just it's an empty slice. So new, right, gave us a pointer, returns a pointer. It returned a pointer, and is 0 valued, right? So returns a pointer to newly allocated 0 valued of type t. So the 0 value of a slice is nil. Right? We saw that with 0 values. Did we? And we looked. Here we go. Here are 0 values. So nil for pointers, functions, interfaces, slices, channels, and maps. So here that gave us nil right there, that slice. And so make, here we have making a slice of ints with a length of 10 and capacity of 100, right? Make gave us 0 values. It put zeros in all those spots. Okay? So that's what make gave us. So do you kind of see the difference? Make kind of put zeros in all the spots. New just kind of made it nil.
So you have to declare how many that you're actually filling with make, even if you're not filling them with make. You have to put a number in there.
Yeah, because I gave it the length of 10, and the capacity of 100, it gave me 10 zeros. That's my initial length.
Yeah.
Because it put those to 0 or empty string values.
Would make, without putting 10, 100 in there, just int and close it, it wouldn't do anything? It wouldn't work?
I don't know. Bob's a man of speculation and questions. I like it, though. That's how you learn. New make. And make, here we goes make. And here's new int. New int. And new string, new bool, new slice. Let's look at new slice. Is this it? New slice of strings. New make slice int. There we go. Maybe this is it. There we go. Close others. All right, so that's the one, right? And your speculation is that's the way it is right now. And you're saying what would happen if we have this? I think we need 10 in there for make. Yeah. Missing length argument. So what happens if we put length in of 0? Ha! How do you like that?
Okay, it returns the same thing. A nil.
Yeah. Well, I think 0 and nil maybe are different.
Well, it's a 0 length.
I don't know. I don't.
It's not a 0 entry. It's a 0 length, right? And a nil slice means there's 0 entries in it.
I'm not sure. I think there's the sort of internals. There's some sort of difference,
Okay,
and that's
well, let's say the first part. Delete the second part with the make. Just have the new, right? You got a nil, and then ask for the length of that, and it should come up with 0.
Oh, so length of nil.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that. So here we go. 10, we'll do 0.
Just delete all that second part.
Right here? This whole line?
Yeah, those last 2 lines.
And you want length? Let's do length of age.
Yeah, you're just asking what the length is for the upper part.
Let's see what that gives us.
Should come up with 0.
Invalid. Can't do that. So let's try this one. Because we're asking for the length of an address in that last one, right? And we got 0 there. And then what's the length of this one? 0, 0. I don't know. So still, why do we care? I don't know why we care, but you sometimes use make, and so make is like you got to make something, like making a slice. The computer, the compiler, or the Go runtime has to make an underlying array. So it's actually making a slice, right? And so there's some making involved in that. So that's one thing. Or same thing with maps and channels, right? Like the Go runtime has to do some stuff to make it. And then new, remembering returns a pointer 0 valued. Well, that might be useful if you just need a pointer at some place. And so the way you can remember new returns a pointer, here's my mnemonic device, is that I got a new dog, it's a pointer, and I called him 0. I got a new dog, it's a pointer, and I called him 0, right? So new gives you a pointer that's 0, right? New pointer 0. And then, so, and just kind of like looking at making a new int, right? Gives me the 0 value and a pointer to an int. I got a new dog, it's a pointer, and its name is 0. And new string gives me a pointer to a string. Got a new dog, it's a pointer, and it's 0. So the 0 value of a string is just empty quotes. So there are the 0 values. I'll pause there for a second. False for booleans, 0 for integers, 0, 0 for floats, empty string for strings, nil for pointers, functions, interfaces, slices, channels, and maps. New bool is a pointer to a bool, and the 0 value is false. New slice of strings is a pointer to a slice of strings, and it's nil. 0 value is nil. A new map, pointer to a map, and the map is nil. And then we go to make. So can I make an int? I can't make an int. That's kind of interesting. I could use new on int, but I can't make an int, right? Make is only for slice, map, and channel. And so here's the one where I'm using new on a slice events and make on a slice events. So new gives us a pointer. It's nil, or yeah, 0 value. And then here I have new string and make string. And notice the difference in the strings here. That's kind of cool. Well, same thing with the zeros, right? There's 40 empty strings there, just as if we had 40 zeros. And then we have a new map and a make map. So new map gives me a pointer to map, and it's nil. And then make map gives me, right, just a map, and it's initialized to put 0 or empty strings into values. And I was just like, what happens when I try to get the index of all those, and they all come back 0. So any key I give it, it's already 0, because the value is int, and that's what it is. Allocation with make. Back to allocation, the built-in function make t args, right? So we were seeing make type args, right? And here's make type and then args. So and args is maybe italicized, maybe because they're optional, because do we have here any args with that? We're just make map, right? But here we have args, we have length and capacity. So the built-in function make t args serves a purpose different from new t. Make creates slices, maps, and channels only, and it returns an initialized, not zeroed, value of type t. not a pointer to t. So initialized is different than zeroed, right? Not totally sure how or why or what, but initialized is like we've set a value, set it equal to a value, whereas zero value is just the default value if you haven't set it equal to value. The reason for the distinction is that these three types represent under the covers references to data structures, right? So make is used for making something that has a reference to a data structure. So a slice is referencing an array, right? Slice is built on top of an array. I don't know what the internals on a map or a channel are. That must be initialized before use. So they have to be initialized before use. So that's why make. A slice, for example, is a 3-item descriptor containing a pointer to the data. So a slice has a pointer to the data, a length, and capacity. Okay, we already know that, right? And until those items are initialized, the slice is nil, right? So if we use new, we'd have a nil slice. For slices, maps, and channels, make initializes the internal data structure and prepares the value for use. For instance, make slice int 10, 100, allocates an array with 100 ints, and then creates it. We already know this stuff. Remember, make applies only to map, slices, and channels, and does not return a pointer. So I wonder if we could use slice when we do new, right? So here we have a slice, and can we actually put something into the slice? So how do we put so this all runs, and I think I'm in 99 trial. 99 trial. Just open that up to confirm. Yeah, and get rid of this length here. How do we add something to a slice? So I want to add something to my slice right here. How do I add something to my slice, which is age? What I use to add to a slice? Append. Right? So my slice, and I'm thinking I got to reference the value. My slice is equal to append, and then I need to put in the value. Right? So I'm dereferencing the address there. And I just need to append some int, because it's a slice of ints. Is that going to work? So now let's print it again and watch everything blow up. Whoa. So I was able to, even though it was just set to the zero value, which is nil, I was able to use it. Interesting, right? But and same with make. I should be able to use bday equal append bday, and it takes ints 8. And I'll print line bday again. It's cool to experiment. Allocation with new. Go has 2 allocation primitives. The built-in function new and make. They do different things and apply to different types, which can be confusing, but the rules are simple. Let's talk about new first. It's a built-in function that allocates memory. But unlike its namesake in some other languages, it does not initialize the memory. It only zeroes it. That is, new t allocates zeroed storage for a new item of type t and returns its address. In Go terminology, it returns a pointer to newly allocated 0 value of type t. In Todd terminology, I got a dog, it's a pointer, and its name is 0. Right? New, I got a new dog, it's a pointer, and its name is 0. So new gives us a pointer to the 0 value. Since the memory returned by new is 0, it is helpful to arrange when designing your data structures that the 0 value of each type can be used without further initialization. This means a user of data structure can create one with new and get right to work. For example, the documentation for bytes buffer states the 0 value for the buffer is an empty buffer ready to use. Similarly, sync mutex does not have an explicit constructor for a init or init method. Instead, the 0 value for sync mutex is defined to be an unlocked mutex. All right, so anyhow, just to be good to become aware of that. That still doesn't totally make sense to me. Like, you know, I mean, I get the basics there, but like, what are the implications of that? I don't get all the implications. But just being aware that make is for what? What's make for? slices,
No.
maps, and changes, channels. Slices, maps, and channels, maps, because those are reference types, and so we're going to make them, right? And then new gives you a pointer of something set to its 0 value. Okay, so if you got that, then that's good.